הגענו לחלק השלישי של היום, ובחלק הזה יש לנו אורח נוסף שהגיע במיוחד מארצות הברית ואנחנו מאוד שמחים על כך. שמו מאט קובל, הוא יוצר אינטרנט והוא גם מומחה ליוטיוב, ואם זה לא מספיק הוא בעצמו גם קומיקאי. אתם תראו עבודות שהוא יראה לכם. הכיוון שהוא ייקח את ההרצאה שלו הוא קצת שונה מהכיוון של קייסי. הוא התמקד יותר בענייני יוטיוב ויותר בענייני הקהל ואיך להגיע אליו. אוקיי, אז אנחנו נתחיל בסרטון קצר ואחר כך מאט יעלה.
Yo.
Hey, I got some news, bro. Katie is no longer my girlfriend.
Oh, thank God. I hated that bitch.
What the Jeff?
I was gonna say she's not my girlfriend, man. She's my fiance.
Hi, Katie. Congrats, guys.
Thank you. Second time's a charm. It's always nice for an online filmmaker to see an audience live react to your work, because online all you tend to see are numbers go up and comments, but to have people laugh and to see that is great. My name is Matt Koval. Just so you know, if Casey is like Jack Daniels or vodka, I'm more like skim milk. Okay, just clear that up. So I am a independent filmmaker and YouTube creator, and as of last year, a full-time YouTube employee. And I'll explain a little bit more about that role in a bit. But today I want to talk about building your own audience on YouTube with an emphasis on own. Having your own audience that you can basically deliver any message to or any project over the course of your career is pretty profound and powerful. We're going to talk a lot about that. The first half of this, I was asked to tell my story, and often when I tell my story or when I am in the audience and somebody tells their story, I think, okay, great. How is this going to help me, though? But I really went back and thought about my story, and I think really there are things that you can learn from and glean from, because I kind of learned the hard way about some of this and made a lot of mistakes. So I really think you can learn from my story. And in the second half, what we're actually going to do is workshop an idea of yours live. We're going to go through a series of questions that you're going to workshop in your head as to a show idea of yours and how to possibly optimize it for YouTube. Who remembers these beauties? I started making short films in the late 80s and early 90s. I made horror films and Terminator ripoffs. I played a character who looked very similar to Indiana Jones. And I would cast my friends and family and then show everyone, every month or so, or when there was any sort of holiday after the meal, the thing to do was to watch Matt's latest epic. And at home, I was sort of, in the neighborhood, I was sort of known as the little Spielberg. Back then, there weren't many filmmakers. This was before the internet, of course, and before YouTube, and before really computers could handle full motion video. But I loved it. My little ecosystem back then of filmmaking was I could make stuff and show people. And those people were my friends and family. And they were always a very positive crowd, of course. They loved everything, surprisingly. But that's why I fell in love with filmmaking, because I could make stuff and show people. And if you take the business aspect out of filmmaking, really that's what it all comes down to, right? And if you're filmmakers here, that's all what we want to do. We just want to convey messages and ideas through film and show people. In college, I studied film as well, where the equipment started to evolve and advance. That's where I first used a nonlinear editing system. It was called Media 100. I took classes and internships, and when I graduated college, I was told to do what everybody did, supposedly, the only thing to do, which was to go to Hollywood. And I didn't know anybody there, but that was the thing to do. So I moved 3,000 miles away from my family, and packed up my car like a one-man rocket ship and went out there. And I got my first job at Sony Studios, and it felt pretty cool to land a job there. Although my job mainly consisted of pouring coffee and running personal errands for the producers. I picked up a lot of dry cleaning. I kind of cut my teeth there, and I got my start. From there, I moved on to Fox Studios. Again, sounds maybe fairly impressive. I was a script reader there. I would read feature film scripts that were submitted, and they would, and any that came along that seemed promising, I would elevate them to the various producers, etc. But after a couple years of that, I realized I was just a cog in the machine. I was just a tiny component, and more importantly, I realized I wasn't making anything anymore. And I had to get back to making stuff. So I quit the whole studio system, and I went back to my short films, and I started writing feature-length screenplays and studying story structure. I went back to making stuff. To pay the bills, I was a freelance cameraman and video editor. Since I had grown up making my own movies and doing everything, every single role, I was this jack of all trades. And so I was able to get freelance work doing just about everything in the production, in a production. The only problem then was that I was making stuff, but I wasn't showing people. There was nobody to show. The short films kind of sat on the shelf. I did get into some film festivals, and it was wonderful to show my films there, but it was few and far between. The producers that I sent my scripts to said they loved them, but they apparently didn't love them quite enough because they were never purchased by the studios or anything like that. But I kept making stuff for other people, and I kept paying my bills, and the years went by. And before I knew it, I had hit the 10-year mark in Los Angeles. And I had worked on some exciting projects, to be sure. I was even director of photography on a Chris Pine movie. This Chris Pine was Captain Kirk in Star Trek. And while we were shooting, actually, he got the news that he got the role as Star Trek. And I was on the set with him. So I got to be a part of some exciting projects. That movie was not my voice, though. It was the director's voice and vision, of course. 10 years in, I wasn't doing what I set out to do. I wasn't making films and getting my own voice as a filmmaker out there. I was pretty frustrated. And I said to my wife, I think it's time to go back. I'm done. Hollywood is, I was kind of sick of it. I hated the business of it. And it was clearly not allowing me to make stuff and get it out to people. And so, I also had to face the possibility that, hey, maybe it's me. Maybe I just don't quite have the talent to do this. So we were ready to go back. There was just one problem, which was the housing market. We owned a house in Los Angeles. This was 2009. And I don't know if anyone's familiar. The housing market completely crashed, and we were unable to sell our house. So I was stuck in Los Angeles, and I was stuck surrounded by the entertainment business, which I, at that point, wanted nothing to do with. So I wanted a fresh direction. I started looking into other things. What else could I do? I wanted something new and fun to get my stuff, my filmmaking, out there. So there was this video website called YouTube. At the time, it was one of several video sites that you could upload your short films to. It didn't have the same reputation as it does today. It wasn't that legitimate at this point yet. 2 years prior, I had actually uploaded a couple of my short films to this strange website. And I was just coming back to YouTube and giving it another shot. I opened up my account, and guess how many views my short films had? Like 12. They didn't have a lot of views. My short films did not go viral or anything like that. But it was working for some people. There were these YouTube stars and YouTube creators who were getting hundreds of thousands of views on their videos. And that was appealing to me. There was a huge audience there. But how were they doing it? I didn't quite understand. But I started to study it. I started to watch these YouTube stars and what they did. I engaged in the community. I watched guys like this. And to be honest, in the beginning, I thought, I didn't get it. These guys, they didn't have any production training. They didn't know proper screenplay structure. Yet they were getting all these views. And I thought, who were these kids with their YouTube? I had a real snobby attitude about it in the beginning. Maybe I was just jealous. I'm not sure. And so actually in the beginning, I just thought, I don't get it. I'm going to just go back to, and I thought about it, go back to Hollywood, and that whole world didn't quite want to do that. So I gave it another shot, and I really got involved in the YouTube community. I made comments on other people's videos. I started, I jumped in. It's like an ecosystem. And I started speaking to other creators via message or whatever. And I studied it all. And I said, all right, I'm going to do this because I want this audience that these kids seem to have. And in my examination of all this, though, there was one thing they were doing that I was not doing on YouTube. And that's the thing that filmmakers probably hate the most, which is getting in front of the camera. This idea annoyed and terrified me. I didn't want to, I'm typically an introvert. I like to, work in the basement on some little detailed project or when I'm editing and then get it out to the audience. And I don't want to have to face them. I don't want to be on camera. But I realized after studying all these other YouTube creators that that was something I had to do. I had to personalize it and make it a conversation with the audience. And so, like I said, I didn't want to do these rambling video blogs that a lot of these creators were doing. But I thought, okay, what if I scripted it? What if I took a video blog and instead of just rambling on and on, I gave it a beginning, middle, and end, gave it some screenplay structure. What if it was more of a process that I was used to? So I took a story that I often told at parties, which was, it's a true story, about the time I was in a buffet line with a friend, and at the front of the line was Jack Nicholson, the actor. And my friend had the great idea that we were going to go approach and introduce ourselves to Jack Nicholson, which we did. Something very odd happened and embarrassing. And so the video is called Jack Nicholson's Elbow. I'm actually not going to play this one. It's just me telling a story. I, of course, did the camera and the lighting and the audio and the music and the editing afterwards. I did everything. It was, no sweat to me. And a funny thing happened. I started getting a lot of comments coming in. People were really responding to this story. There was something about breaking this fourth wall and talking directly into the camera. The comments started flowing in, and around that time I realized this isn't a traditional entertainment platform. This is different. This isn't about just sending your material out there to be seen and not focusing and engaging with that audience. This is some sort of two-way conversation. Well, around that time, the creative floodgates were open. I had so many ideas pent up. I had an audience there that was starting to build. I made a couple of these video blogs. And it was so exciting to me. And I also, my confidence in front of the camera started to build as well. And so I said, all right, well, I'm going to try a comedy skit. And in classic YouTube style, I'm going to play 4 members of a family sitting at the table. I'm going to play each family member. And so I made this little series called The Fooplers. It was very homemade. very simple, and I felt like an idiot. But I was alone in the house. My wife was out of the house, and somehow, since it wasn't any live performance, I felt like I could be a complete fool. I don't know if you've ever, like in the bathroom mirror, made faces and done funny voices. Maybe that's just me. But it was a place where I could just, I felt free to do anything. And even when I uploaded the video, I didn't have to see people watching this. I just saw numbers go up. So this is the first public screening I've actually ever stood here. Why am I sweating all of a sudden? No. So let's take a look. This is the Fooplers.
Mom, there's no more salad dressing.
Oh, I find that hard to believe.
No, she's right, Mom. I only got like 3 drops.
Oh, Philly, give me that.
Ew!
What? It's just a little water to help get it off the sides. Now you shake it up. And hoodly-hoo.
Ew, it looks like puke.
Kevin, unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Well, eat it without dressing then.
I have to. Lindsay just used it all.
Oh, Philly, give me that.
Carol, it's not going to work a second time.
Well, I bet it's better than plain water.
Why couldn't we just have sloppy joes like we usually do on Tuesday night?
Because it's colon cleansing week, remember? And sloppy joes is not a colon cleansing food.
What's a colon?
Okay, I'll stop you there. So, so my audience kind of went crazy for this. They couldn't believe that this guy who was just telling stories suddenly was going to wear wigs and do all this crazy stuff. They didn't care that it wasn't fancy, that it wasn't high gloss. They liked the authenticity of it, I think. They liked the genuineness and the fact that some guy in California was in his house, you know, in wigs doing this. This was a huge driver of subscribers to my channel, this series, The Fooplers, which I ultimately made about 12 episodes of. Continuing to study the ecosystem of YouTube, I learned very quickly about the importance of collaborating with other YouTube creators. So you have all these people with their own audiences, right? In a way, they're the A-list stars of this alternate dimension of the entertainment business. And so, but not all of these stars lived where I did. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to reach out to some of these influencers of YouTube and ask them to be a part of my video. I realized, though, we can't all, you know, they don't live here. So I wrote a video around a phone call. And I reached out to some of these A-list YouTube stars. And I said, hey, I'm not a big YouTube player, but I got a great script here, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. I feel like you'd be perfect for the role. It was starting to sound very much like Hollywood. It felt like some producer going out to Brad Pitt or whatever, saying, I'm nobody, but I got a great script here that you would be perfect for. Well, based on the material, they liked it, and they agreed to be a part of it. So they also shot their own scenes and sent the footage to me, and I assembled it into this video, which is called YouTube in 1985.
Hello, YouTube. May I help you?
Yeah, hi. I'd like to submit my latest video.
On VHS or Betamax?
VHS.
And your username?
Big Man X Super Stud 2.
Okay.
Do you think I could get this one featured?
I don't see why not. Just get your tape in the mail ASAP. Rumor has it our company's really gonna be big soon.
Great.
Here we go. Looks like you've had a couple of comments on your last video.
Oh, the one about my niece.
One is, she's cute. And the other is, who gives a flying crap, that bitch looks retarded. you interested in any subscriptions today?
Yeah, actually,
Sure, let me transfer you. Kathy, line 1!
Subscriptions, this is Kathy. How can I help you?
Yeah, hi, I'd like to subscribe to a couple channels.
I'd be totally glad to help you. And what are they?
The first is Cute Cat Videos.
Okay, that's enough. So, and then there's a third guest star at the end of that video. And what happened was, they loved how it came together, and they promoted that to all their subscribers, and they featured it and tweeted it out. And, as you can see, that was a throwback to my VHS days, by the way. And as a result, there was a flurry of attention around this video all of a sudden. And I guess it showed up on YouTube's radar. They really liked that. I think it made fun of them and poked fun of them a little bit. And so they put it on the front page. And, the views just started piling on at that point. And I had my first viral hit, pretty much. And I felt like I had made it in this weird alternate reality of the entertainment business that was YouTube. Guess who came calling next? Actually, the week after that, my old employer. They didn't even know that I used to work there. But they came to me and said, hey, we love your stuff. We were wondering if you could make us a web series. And so I did that. I wrote and directed, and they paid for a web series. And we distributed it on my YouTube channel. Why my channel? Because I had more subscribers than Fox did. I was starting to realize there was something very powerful about this audience that I had almost all to myself, that I could use this audience as leverage to get ahead in the entertainment business. This would have been, the question was, what year is this? I think this was 2009 or so. Then the brand deals came along. Colgate, Hewlett-Packard, Google, Verizon had each come to me and asked to do some sort of brand integrated video. And if you've done anything like that, it gets a little tricky because you can't push or sell the brand too hard in the content or else the audience turns against you. Verizon had asked me to promote this new, very technical, network they had called 4G LTE. So it was difficult to write, but I put it in an episode of that wacky skit I did. I got to hire a crew this time. I didn't have to do the food continuity, the audio, camera, editing, and everything. It was kind of nice. The fans ended up really liking it. The balance between the normal series and the brand message was, I think, well done. And so the fans loved it. Verizon liked it. My wife liked it because we could pay the mortgage with some of the fee. So it was great. But some of you at a film festival might be thinking, looking at something like this and saying, that's great, Matt, but that's not really filmmaking. It's kind of, okay, you're wearing wigs, you're doing this goofy stuff. What about real storytelling? What about something scripted, some narrative-driven thing? I had the same question. How can I take the wigs off and get back to something a little more serious, some sort of narrative thing? Well, I had these brands coming to me. I wasn't even doing anything except making videos, and they were coming to me. I thought, what if I went on the offense a little bit and pitched a brand on what I wanted to do? I had an idea for a dating web series, and I thought, okay, maybe a big dating website might be interested in it. So I went out, found one, and pitched them on the idea. I said, hey, if you pay for this, I'll put your brand name on it, and I'll distribute it on my YouTube channel, and it'll be great. And I can guarantee 500,000 views for 10 episodes. I couldn't believe how quickly they said yes. I immediately realized I probably underbid the project. It's called 8 Dates. The 10 episodes distributed on my YouTube channel, and I cleared the guarantee of views. Thankfully, there are 10 dates in the series, I cast my YouTube star friends, so they promoted the series, and it was great. I played a small role as a waiter, and this was crucial, so I could focus on directing, but also let the audience know that, hey, this was still my project, you know. This is still a Matt Koval project, and it continues to be watched. I mean, I think it's up to 1.2 million views, and it continues to be seen and discovered on YouTube, and you know, everyone's happy. So, I mean, ultimately, YouTube allowed me to do many things that Hollywood never did. To get my work out unfiltered and untampered with. To let the audience decide whether I was talented or not. The audience was the true gatekeeper here. And also to develop my voice as a filmmaker. Often in traditional filmmaking, you know, you sort of like make one project a year. You put everything into this one project, or everything into a project for 2 years. And on YouTube, it's more about frequency. You really got to get that content out, because if the audience likes that one thing, they're going to want more. So as a result, you start hustling as a filmmaker to get this content out. And what happens is your voice as a filmmaker gets developed, which I didn't even think about until after these videos were coming out. I looked back at what I had created, and I thought, you know, oh, there's actually a distinct voice here, or a distinct sense of humor with my stuff. And, you know, lastly, it also allowed me to get to my stuff to an audience of millions. YouTube is kind of like the freeway. And so you can get your stuff up there, and it can get discovered, and there's potential to have it be seen by many, many people. Note that none of this happened because I lived in Los Angeles. So I don't know if that 10 years was for nothing, but all I was able to do it with was a computer, an internet connection, and a bunch of ideas. So last year, I was hired full-time as a programming strategist for YouTube. So I'm going to take my creator hat off now and put on my employee hat. And I work on a team called Programming Strategy. And what that really means is programming content strategy, programming video strategy, not programming like in the usual sense with computers. This is YouTube Space Los Angeles. It's our new production facility in Playa Vista, California. I work there. It's very exciting. I've transitioned kind of from being a creator to working with creators. I mean, my role is to advise and consult with and help YouTube creators. So I'm on this programming strategy team that focuses on what works on YouTube and why. And we scour YouTube all day, and we look at videos that are really skyrocketing, and we try to analyze why. And then if something's working that's unique, we will turn around and scale that to the audience at large, or to the entire ecosystem of YouTube, and say, hey, look at what this channel did. You know, you all can do it as well. Okay. Now we're getting to sort of the workshop part of this. And what I'd like you to do is surface in your mind an idea that you've had recently for a movie, a TV show, a web series, something. Bring it to the forefront of your mind, because what I'm going to do is go through 9 programming questions that one should consider before launching their YouTube show. Notice it says show. Again, on YouTube, you don't want to just upload that one thing. You want to think about how you can have a wider footprint, because if they love that one thing, they're going to want more, right? The real trick is creating work that is ongoing. Okay, just remember, this is not a checklist. So if you say no to some of these questions, that's perfectly fine. Just know that all of these can help on this unique platform. So have that idea in your head, and let's go through this. Is your show idea conversational? Is there an element of the idea that speaks directly to the audience. I told you all about my breakthrough when I forced myself to get in front of the camera and talk to them. Is there an element of this idea in your head that involves, or can you incorporate an element that has you talking to them? These are filmmakers on YouTube, very popular, Wong Fu Productions. This is a short film of theirs called The Last. Almost 6 million views. It is a romantic drama. That's what these guys make, romantic dramas. Probably not what you'd expect to go viral on YouTube and get 6 million views, right? It's very difficult, actually. There's not a lot of spectacle to romantic dramas. But every short film they put out gets those kind of views. And one of the reasons is because in between the short films, they have a series called Wong Fu Weekends, WFW. This is episode number 92, Awkward Pandas at the Zoo. They talk to their audience in between the short films. They reveal parts of their lives. They get personal with the audience, and they have a conversation. So this idea that you have, can you make it conversational? And if so, who would be the face of the channel? Who would be the one talking to the audience out there? These are a couple other popular channels, Daily Grace, also Epic Mealtimes Harley. They speak into the camera, and the audience really feels like they're friends with these people. Now, these two are more personality-based. They're not so much filmmakers, but you know, it's important either way. So, you know, is there a way that you can incorporate personality? Okay, next, the show idea that you have in your head. Is there a consistent format that works? Can you make it repeatable? It's great if you had that one video that got, you know, 1 million views, but the real trick is to have an ongoing show get a lot of views. On the left is a very recent and popular new series called Conversations with My 2-Year-Old. And on the right, a very popular Israeli channel, 2D2. And the repeatable format there, the consistent format, are these 3D animated videos for children. So I think when you see a 2D2 video come up in your feed, you know what it is. It's consistent. So let's watch this video, Convos with My 2-Year-Old. Note that this very much could have been one single short film, but they're making it into an entire series. Let's take a look.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Good. What do you want to do for dinner?
No, you can't talk to her right now.
What?
You can't talk to her right now because I'm talking to her right now.
Okay, well, that's my wife, and I can talk to my wife whenever I want to talk to my wife. She can talk to me whenever she wants to talk to me.
No, she's not your wife. She's the princess.
I'm the princess right now.
See?
Well...
Okay. So she's playing with me. So you just go over there right now. Look how much fun we're having.
Okay, so great idea. I mean, that shows to me that content is still king even on YouTube. And so they made that a whole series, and they've made, I think, 5 or 6 episodes at this point. Okay, continuing on though, this idea that you have in your head, do you have a targeted audience for it? Do you know who you're trying to reach with this material? Does it appeal to the masses? This is a video called What If the Sun Disappeared from a channel called Vsauce, which is a science channel. probably appeals to quite a wide age group of people. And then on the right, the alternative, does the content appeal to a strong niche like crochet or nail art? There are some really popular channels that are being run right now about how to paint your nails in very creative ways. So it's best typically if your content is going to appeal to an audience that is very clear to you. You know exactly who they are. Next, the show idea. Is it sustainable? This is a big one. If the audience really likes it, are you going to be able to make more of it? Do you have the resources, the time, the location, access to that actor over and over again? You know, that series, The Fooplers, that I made, the comedy skit, I got myself in a little bit of trouble with that because it's so much work. I mean, shooting one angle, setting up the eye lines correctly. It would take 2 or 3 nights to shoot and a couple weeks to edit. And actually, I got a little bit buried with it. I couldn't continue it. But I got a little bit in trouble with my audience because that's what they wanted. They loved it, but I just couldn't keep it up. So, sustainability. Can you keep up this idea that you're thinking about over time? Okay. Is the idea shareable? This goes to the core of what the internet's all about, right? Will viewers share these videos? And if so, why? I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, I'm sure they'll tweet it out and put it on Facebook. Yeah, it's great. But one thing that's really helpful to do is to get in the head of one of your viewers and think about exactly what they will say when they put it on Facebook. Will they say, haha, this short is hilarious, guys, check it out? Will they say, oh, this is a really great way to organize your closet, watch this video? Often, if you can think of that specific phrase that the audience will write on Twitter or Facebook or G+, you know that this is going to be shared. There's a better chance. So try to understand their thinking. Is this just remarkably funny or useful or cool? All right, we're going to watch this video called Dragon Baby. Has anybody seen Dragon Baby? Okay, just a few. It's short. Let's take a look. Dragon Baby was shared to the tune of 27 million views. And note also that there's no language barrier with that short film, which is great too, and I think that contributed to the viewership there. Very shareable. Of course, extremely remarkable in the special effects and how he did it. I mean, I don't even know how. I've worked in special effects. I'm not even sure how they made that. But all the same, shareability. Do you understand why the audience might share your idea or your video series? Okay, moving right along, interactivity. This idea that you have, is there a way to install a component to the idea to make it interactive? This is a pretty prolific YouTuber and video blogger named Zay Frank. He's done all sorts of different types of shows, very innovative stuff. In this video, forget the numbers for a second. He was just making a video blog. He was talking to the audience directly. And but if you were really paying attention or not paying attention, you may have noticed numbers appearing in the background on the bookshelf back there. And they would appear and then disappear. And then a few seconds later, another number would appear. If you saw that and you thought to write those numbers down, you may have realized it was a phone number. It was a 1-800 toll-free phone number. If you thought to call that phone number, you would hear a message from Zay Frank congratulating you. You won a free poster of his with instructions on how to submit your address so they could ship you your free poster. A week later, Zay made a new video where he thanked and congratulated the people who had figured it out and called in. And he thanked them by name. A very cool interactive component to his series. And it thrilled not only the people who won the poster, but everybody else, because it showed to them that, hey, he really cares, he did something cool. We got to be a part of it. So interactivity. Is there a way you can incorporate that to make your viewers feel involved? The number one search engine in the world is? Alta Vista. Yes. Is Google the number 2 search engine? Very good. YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. People are really now turning to YouTube to find things and search. So, is this idea of yours, will it be discoverable? Will it show up with trending topics? Like recently we had a supermoon. It was the biggest moon of the year. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was searching YouTube for supermoon videos. So is there a way that this idea of yours can be built around trending topics, or the Olympics, or an election? Because if you can attach your videos to these trending topics, what happens is when people search and when popular videos surface about the supermoon, your video is right there in related videos. So you can kind of draft off of that traffic and have your video content seen. So, or is there a way that your idea can be commonly searched for? Crickets. How to tie a tie is one of the most popular how-to videos on YouTube. I made a video called How to Talk to Women once, where I talked to a cardboard woman. It was just a complete comedy video. But to this day, it's one of my more viewed videos. I mean, it's 4 years old. It still gets viewed. And that's because it's commonly searched for. Okay. Accessible. Is your content accessible? So what this means is, let's say you do a whole series and you're up to episode number 48. Can a new viewer who comes in and watches episode 48 understand what your show is about? This is a series called Key of Awesome, number 72, from Barely Political. It's a comedy series, and you can pretty much jump in anywhere and watch any episode. So is the idea, will it be fully accessible? Or are people going to have to watch 71 prior episodes to figure out what's going on? Remember that series, 8 Dates, I told you about? This is episode number 7, Haunted by Your Ex. I'll show you a little bit of that just to illustrate what I'm talking about. Notice also in the beginning is an element of conversation with the audience.
Have you ever been through a really bad breakup? To the point where everything reminds you of your ex? Well, I haven't. It's one of the perks of never having been in a real relationship. But I understand that for some people, getting over a breakup is one of the hardest things to do. You know what else is hard? Spending a meal with one of those people.
Bread. Am I right?
Hey, but this is kind of awkward to bring up on a first date, but this is me and my ex-girlfriend's place. I mean, we used to come here all the time. She lives right around the corner, and we just recently broke up, so...
Oh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Did you want to go someplace else?
No, this is fine. I just thought I should get it out there. Come on, I'm hungry.
Okay.
What perfume are you wearing?
Oh, it's novelty perfume. It smells like graham crackers.
That's what I thought.
What's wrong?
My girlfriend used to wear that. My ex-girlfriend.
Sorry,
Ex.
All right, have we decided?
Yes, I will have the chicken. Did your girlfriend eat chicken?
Yeah, she's...
Actually, I will have the salmon.
We had salmon by the coast once.
Fettuccine Alfredo?
Anniversary in Little Italy.
Okay. How about lettuce wedge with mashed potatoes on the side and bok choy?
All the same, but no bok choy. Please.
I'll put your orders in.
So, Jack. What now?
My girlfriend used to call me that.
Jack is your name. Your name is Jack. Everybody calls you Jack.
I know. But she'd always be like, hey, Jack. You know, and then she'd say something else. Just, I don't know how I'm going to go on. I just can't do this. I'm sorry. I thought I could do this. You know, you seem like the perfect girl to get her off my mind. I mean, she's tall and smart and pretty, and you're like the complete opposite of that.
Oh, well. You're welcome.
There's the brand, by the way.
Okay, guys. After a bad breakup, what's the ideal recovery time before you should start dating again? Or how do you know when the time is right? Let's see some comments from last week.
Interactive.
Leprechaun Stu seems to suggest that he could go gay, but it depends on how big his boobs are and if he has a vagina. DJ Tron 1X says, no, couldn't do it. I have a number of gay friends and I'm simply not attracted to men. Same way my ex-wife turned out to be not attracted to men. Uh-oh.
Okay, cool. So that was episode 7. I heard some laughter. It's you all most likely had not seen the prior 6 episodes. So it's often good with your YouTube show to make sure that it's accessible, that every episode can be enjoyed by a new viewer. Okay, number 9. Is there room to work with guest talent? I talked about how powerful the collab video, or how helpful it was for me. Is there a way, can you install room in this show idea of yours to have a guest star? On the left is a series called Epic Rap Battles of History, where every single episode is a rap battle between like Abraham Lincoln and somebody else. And they will often have a guest star, a YouTube star, or celebrity play the role of one of them. On the right is an episode or show called 7 Minutes in Heaven. It's an interview show where this guy talks to people in a closet, and then at the end of every episode, he awkwardly tries to make out with them. But it's built for guest stars. So your show doesn't have to be built for guest stars, but is there a cool way you can feature somebody in this show idea? And just a little pro tip here, it's often best to feature somebody or have a guest star who has a very similar audience to yours. If you have a cooking channel, you don't want to just pick someone at random to be a guest star. You want to have maybe another cooking channel as a guest of your show, so you can share audiences. It's organic and build that way. I see a lot of people writing, and I've been seeing people write. If you want, you can take a snapshot of this. Here are all of them all together. Take your phones out if you want, and just take a shot. Sorry, maybe I should have mentioned that before. You all wrote these down. Next time. All right. Everybody get it? Okay. Yeah, just a reminder, don't forget, hey, none of these are required. I know a lot in filmmaking, if you're from, sort of traditional narrative filmmaking, a lot of these may not work. It's okay. But a lot of these can help on YouTube. Why don't we open it up to questions? Yes, sir.
It sounds like you're trying to make rules for YouTube, or like try to manage it like a studio, or like kind of give it a system.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube is many things to many people. We were just talking about the other day, it's a news site for some people. It's a place to upload birthday videos and family videos for people. This is geared towards people who want to create a channel and grow it. These are recommendations based on what we've seen work. So this is certainly just suggestions. Also, if there's any brave volunteer out there who wants to volunteer their idea and their thoughts on how it worked with the framework, the 9 questions.
I'd just like to ask a question first. I didn't understand exactly what you do on YouTube, and that's interesting. Like, what do you guys? Okay, so you have some kind of idea or something that's hot, if you will, and what do you do with that, leveraging that?
Okay, yeah. The question was, what do I do on YouTube? What does my team do? Just clarify that. We try to stimulate the ecosystem and help people understand. And, it can seem a little complicated if you're new to YouTube. So what we do is we track the most innovative creators, and I showed you some of the pieces, some of the videos from very innovative creators on YouTube, and we try to figure out what's working. This is all a very evolving platform. And then once we identify what's working well, we will share that with the rest of the community by way of, often, our creator playbook. We have a creator playbook. Has anybody ever heard of it? You can go to youtube.com/playbook, and it's basically best practices that are combined in one publication or one book, and it's all based on observing the most innovative creators and what they've done. And we're just trying to share the knowledge. With my own channel, the way I learned, again, was just studying the most popular creators and see what they were doing. It's a great way to learn. Yes?
How does YouTube make money?
How does YouTube make money? How do you as a creator make money, or how does YouTube?
You work for YouTube, right? How does your company make money?
Okay, how does YouTube make money? You ever watch videos and the little ads pop up at the bottom? The little advertisements? Or the commercials that play before certain videos? Or the advertisements, the static advertisements that are there? That's all ad revenue. And so basically, if you're making content, you have a channel, you get the majority of that ad revenue, and YouTube takes a cut, takes a split. Yes, sir?
I find it interesting that you and Casey before didn't speak about monetization, or meaning that it seems like even if you're successful on YouTube, your source of revenue will probably be offline, meaning either people sponsoring you or calling you in to do other projects. And I just find that interesting. I wonder if you can say something about that. Is that really a way to, direction one should try and pursue?
Yeah, question is about revenue on YouTube, and can you really make a full-time living off doing just YouTube, right? Some people certainly are. We have, I think, over 1,000 creators now that are making over $100,000 a year. But for me, as far as this presentation, it's all about finding an audience, and for me, that's what I desperately wanted. The income, to be frank, for me was supplementary, and I was able to make income from the brands and selling T-shirts, and YouTube completely supports all that external revenue making as well, even if they're not a part of it, because we want you to, keep making content and grow your channel. Okay, so I hear one last question. So.
Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask, so just uploaded your first video, the second one, and that's it, right? I mean, the audience, you just uploaded and it kept on going, right?
Yeah,
no monetization and no.
How did you get the first traffic?
Yeah, how did you get?
Okay. Yeah, sorry, maybe that wasn't clear. So you upload the first one. It's like crickets, right? The only views you're getting are every time you hit reload on the browser. I got two views. This is where you need to be a part of the community. And look, don't jump in with your first video and expect it to get discovered and blow up. I've always wanted to add one more question to those 9 questions, and that's passion. Are you passionate about what you're making? Because if you are, you don't focus on those numbers so much. You really enjoy it. You really enjoy engaging with the audience. And next thing you know, oh, I'm getting a lot of views here, you know. So don't obsess over the views right out of the gate. Enjoy it. Be a part of the community. You know, make friends on YouTube with other creators. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.